So, how do you feel about sequels?
I would say 90% of the time I'm disappointed. Like what's that one with the cars?
Cars?
No, they're race cars. They with Vin Diesel.
Oh, I was like Cars? Fast and the Furious?
Fast and Furious. I watched almost every one of those, right? And in the way that they're ridiculous, you come to expect it, and it's a continuation of the ridiculousness that you expect, right?
Yeah.
Fast cars, badass people, things like a car jumping out of a moving, C4 Galaxy or something like that is so ridiculous. Like, it's an action movie. So they overcome it. So maybe if some of these musicals took the parts where if they went ridiculous, at least make it interesting or make something blow up or whatever, I would be more invested in it or interested in it, but not.
So have you seen Joker? The first or the second?
I think I started the second and it wasn't for me.
So you've got to watch it. Because I need to know your thoughts.
Okay.
You did see the first one?
I think so. Was that one with, what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix.
No, I didn't see the Joaquin Phoenix. I saw what the heck is his name?
Oh, you're talking about with Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's a good Joker.
Yeah, the second one I started watching, and he started singing on a staircase or something like that, and I was out.
Okay, you got to give it a chance. Because I am pretty sure... Me and my husband, we are the only two people in this country that enjoyed Joker 2. First of all, you got to see the first one. It's so much better. It's infinitely better. The first Joker is the better film without question. So watch that one. Joker 2 is not as good. But I did not think it was as bad as everyone is saying. And yes, it's a musical. Yes, they sing. And no, Joaquin Phoenix is not a singer, obviously. But I read something before we even went and saw the movie, and it said the creator, the director, whoever it was, wants people to know this is about two people that are not singers. We don't want them to seem like they are singers. Now, Lady Gaga's in it. She's obviously a singer in real life, and she sings well in the movie. But Joaquin Phoenix does not. And a lot of people hated that.
But I don't want... Where if the singing doesn't add to the storyline, it doesn't belong there.
I think what it is... I don't think...
What is your fascination with wanting me to watch bad movies? There are 10,000 titles that come out per year, and you've already isolated the ones that are terrible. There are other titles I will not see
because
now.
I want you to watch it in a different light. Everyone's like, oh, well, all he did is sing, and there wasn't a lot of action, and it was kind of pointless, and I get that. But the singing should not bother people, because in Joker, in Joaquin Phoenix's version of Joker 1 and 2, it's all about diving into his psyche.
Yeah,
his
and do you
mental
think
health.
a demented villain would go around singing?
He does. That's him. That's the whole premise of the first movie is he wants to be in show business, and he wants to be a star, and he wants to be a performer, and in his head he is, and everything is this performance, and that's why they did that. And that's why Lady Gaga's in it, it's this new love interest, and he's infatuated, and he wants her to be this act with him. And it's like, I feel like so many people went, oh, this was dumb. They just started singing. But it's because of what he is in his head.
Okay, so as growing up with watching Batman's, all of the superhero shows and movies, not once would a villain come on and sing unless they wanted to communicate to you that they were out of their mind. And it wouldn't be...
That he is!
It's fine. But once you have communicated that he's out of his mind, you can leave the premise of him being out of his mind and get back to the villainry, right?
Yeah.
We want to see a villaining, not singing. Like, you've established it. He's out of his mind. Maybe you set up a scene where he's in the middle of a restaurant and he's murdering people and he's singing about the murders. Then click, you could check that off of the list that he's out of his head.
But I think the Joaquin Phoenix version of Joker is before Joker went out into Gotham and was a villain. I think it's all meant to lead up to it. Now, there was a crime. This isn't a spoiler alert. You probably already know this, but he killed a guy in the first one. You know about that?
I don't care.
Okay, it's not a spoiler. It's
Yeah.
the main premise of it. But Robert De Niro plays a late night talk show host that he's been dying to meet. He gets mad at him and he murders him. He kills him. So that's why he's locked up in the second one. And so again, all this is a deep dive into his psyche while he's locked up. He's not free to go out and maim and murder. What it does do at the end, if you watch it, is it without spilling any details, it sort of leaves it open at the end as to then when another Joker is able to come in and go out and maim and murder. So again, it's not good. It's just
I know,
different.
and it's overplaying like something that should be connected, like Kill Bill, for instance, right?
I love Kill Bill.
And so, but they overplayed the murdering with the sword thing, right? Okay, so you take something that somebody likes, and then you just repeat that thing over and over again. By the time that they've done it for the 19th time, you're like, there's no more substance that you could have gone into, no more travels that they could have followed with the character. And so it's very lazy to overplay that.
So you're talking about like how she fights over an Ishii with a sword and multiple times. Like, why doesn't she get a gun? Is that kind of your point? Or?
Let's just take a Van Damme movie. All right, the guy punches people and things. Right? So you start the movie and he's punching things, and then he just goes into a room and starts punching things, and then he goes over here and starts punching things, and then he just basically
it's a fighter movie.
Basically just beat everybody up, right?
Yeah.
They overplayed him fighting. So part of the restraint of saying he's a badass and he knows how to fight things, and most of the time the lead up is him not fighting and knowing that he could beat somebody's ass and watching the character develop into places where the culmination, the top part of the trajectory is him fighting in the battle. Everything else is the leading into the character development and the storyline and whatever. And you ruin that by making everything a pinnacle.
Because Kill Bill, I mean, the whole premise of the movie is very quick synopsis of what happened in the beginning. And then the entire series is just, I'm going to go kill these people now. And you just go along with her on her journey of killing everyone.
And that is why it's overplayed, because you took an element that maybe it would have been received. Like if you had the villain singing in one scene that established that he's crazy, that's cool. But then if he goes along, that's like Van Damme fighting every room. He goes in every room, and instead of talking to you, he sings at you. You're like, come on, this is stupid.
Are you saying you did not enjoy Kill Bill?
I like Kill Bill.
Oh, okay.
But it's still, the elements they overplayed and you can think of movies where they overdid it in one perspective, right? Mm-hmm. It might have been about race cars, right? But if you didn't get to know Vin Diesel and you didn't get to know about the heist and you didn't get to know about the other things, if it was just race after race after race, you're like, all I did was watch a movie about people winning races, right? Mm-hmm. In weird ways. There was no more to the story, and it just lacks depth. It's single dimensional, and I don't know. I think some movies get it wrong.
Well, and I wonder, too, if you would hate, back to Joker, the second one, a lot of people didn't like, it is a completely different version of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is technically in it, but that's not Harley Quinn. It's not the same storyline. It's not the origin of how Harley Quinn came to be. She's nothing like Harley Quinn in any other series. By all means, it's a completely different character, but it's supposed to be her. So that was, I think, annoying to some people. Do you get bothered if they just completely stray from a storyline, or they're like, what is this?
Oh, no, and that's part of the creative license is you can build that if you got an interesting storyline. But if you took something like a Harley Quinn and they're a fan favorite, and they're like, we got to fit Harley Quinn in here so we get some of the the boys in here to look at Harley Quinn, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense for any of the story. It doesn't tell a backstory, it doesn't give a seed a future release or whatever. That was just kind of forced. So like, let's just say the guys like Harley Quinn changing wardrobes on screen. So every scene Harley Quinn is changing a wardrobe. At a certain point you'd be like, I know why they did that. For appealing to one segment, adds no value to the storyline. Yeah. They just wanted the boys to show up. That's what singing is in some of these.
That was pretty much. That was the one big thing that irritated me. Is I was so excited to see that movie for months. God, probably more like a year. I waited to see Joker 2 because I love Lady Gaga. I think she's an amazing actress. I love everything I've seen her act in. And I wanted to see her be Harley Quinn. And that was the one sort of little bad taste in my mouth, is that wasn't Harley Quinn. that was just a totally different character. And they called her Lee. So that to me was a little annoying. Like that's
so do you think it's the creatives just aren't trying as hard? Like they have this machine to output things that people will watch, and they're playing to the lowest common denominator of the audiences, and so you're getting stuff that, you know, people who want to be challenged a little bit aren't getting challenged. I don't know if I hold the audiences responsible for terrible movies or I hold the creatives responsible for terrible movies, but there's lots of terrible movies right now.
Yeah. Did you ever see Cruel Intentions back in the day?
Maybe.
Brian Phillippe, Reese Witherspoon, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Doesn't trigger, so it's probably...
yeah, it was like probably 90s. I was maybe a teenager. My friends and I watched it, even though it was probably more adult than we should have been watching. Yeah, stepbrother, stepsister, wealthy family. They make a bet to turn this innocent girl at school. Like, he wants to sleep with her, and they make a bet if he can get her to sleep with her, but then he falls in love with her. It's not ringing a bell? Okay. It was good. I loved it. To me, it's one of those just like pop culture 90s. I liked it movies. And then they tried to make a remake, and it was awful. And I hear they're going to do like a series or something. They're going to do something else with Cruel Intentions, and I'm so afraid it's going to be awful. And every time I hear that, every time there is a movie or a series or something I loved, and I hear they're going to bring it back, I'm like, if you mess this up, and
that's what
mad.
we have faith that creatives dream up, you know, original things. And then so we see a remake that's just a reshuffling or even the direct retelling of something with new characters. Like that's something that is disappointing because that's their job, is to reimagine this stuff.
Yeah.
And part of it's like, well, maybe they're just not making movies for people like me anymore. Maybe I just got to give in to the fact that they're going to make, you know, like Twister, for instance. I was excited to see Twister. I love the first one. They put just enough science and enough storyline, and they made it interesting. There was shit blowing up. So it was interesting to me. And Twister 2 was just... Really, there were some connecting things. They still had good special effects. There was a little bit of storyline, but it was a disappointment because so many of the elements were exactly identical with new people in the chairs that it was, you know, they could have done more with it. And it's disappointing.
Yeah. I am a big Sex and the City fan. I loved Sex and the City. And when they came out with And Just Like That, I was so excited. I do still enjoy it. I watch it. I wanted to love it, and I just don't love it. And it didn't, I don't think it even did real well when it came out. I'm still waiting on the next season.
And here's the thing. Like, when you enjoyed those things, you were a different person. You were a younger person. And, you know, we all make bad choices when we're younger, and we have different tastes, right? Mm-hmm. We ate Hot Pockets for a point in time. And today we wouldn't eat Hot Pockets. When we go back to our former selves, Hot Pockets were once good enough.
Yeah.
I watched things like go back and watch Grease, for instance, and I thought it was just like the best movie ever. And I watch it now, I was like, by today's standards, and if I watch this as a brand new movie today, I would say that's hot garbage.
Well, I watch reruns of Sex and the City, and I still love it.
Yeah, because you can't remove yourself from your criticisms. It invokes the emotion that it did at the time, and the earlier version of Kelin that resonated with. Now your tastes are higher. It wouldn't resonate the same way that it did at a point. I can almost guarantee you that. Yeah.
See, I just feel it as, and you've probably not watched Sex and the City or And Just Like That. They got real with And Just Like That. And it's just more of a downer. Like, it used to be lighthearted, girls in the city, dating, fashion, fun, laughs. And now it's like death and divorce and real life and aging. And there's a lot of like modern day controversial topics in it now. And
that's the bludgeoning that I was talking about. They want you to know that you need to be lectured on this topic, and they will punch you in the face with it endlessly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If anyone has an issue with the whole, what they would call woke culture, don't watch that. You'll just be annoyed. But I'm fine with it. It's just different.
And that's an important role of creatives as well, is if you are trying to invoke a sort of like a emotional response about something, to look at something with a new perspective and open your mind in a certain, like, I love the rebellious behaviors of music and movies back when they were making controversy, a major element of everything they produced, pushing back on the status quo and getting people to think about. It's not like this. This is sort of like, these people are smarter than you. You're dumb. Let me hit you with how you should feel about it, instead of leading you on a path of some kind of enlightenment that you come to a conclusion. They're being lazy about pushing the end result on you instead of the beginning of a thought process. And I think that's where they get lazy on it, because they get feelings about something, and they're not cool with just letting you come to your own conclusions. Right. So if you stage some kind of injustice and let the injustice happen, right, and let it marinate with you and let you get offended and let you feel all the feelings that go along with it, that's what the creatives are supposed to be doing. But now they got the injustice, and like, now they got to tell you how you should feel about that injustice. And you're like, wait a minute. This is my part. Like, you're out of the equation now. Let me do my feelings on this. Don't lecture me about how I came to the wrong conclusions and I should feel a little bit different. F you.
Yeah. How do you feel about movies like, have you ever seen Mother with Jennifer Lawrence and I think Michelle Pfeiffer's in it? And
didn't see that one, no.
It is one of those movies that purposely makes no sense. I mean, I describe it as a dream. You know, when you dream at night, your dreams can go to different settings with different people and different storylines, and it's just, now you're at your childhood house, and now maybe you're at a movie theater, and maybe now you're at a carnival, and it makes no sense. That's that movie.
Okay.
To the point where my husband and I watched it years ago, and we're sitting there the whole time, we're like, what is happening? Are you following this? And I finally said, we gotta finish it. I gotta see, like, is somebody suddenly gonna wake up and they were dreaming this whole thing? Are they gonna somehow tie everything in? And there's gotta be an explanation. I gotta watch it. And there wasn't. And I had to go to the internet and Google, what was Mother about? And it's all metaphors and like euphemisms, and it's all like symbolism, and it's about the giving tree and the Bible and Mother Earth, but it's all done in different metaphors. And I'm just like, did you honestly think the average everyday moviegoer had any freaking idea what the hell you were talking about in this movie? Mm-hmm. Are you into stuff like that? Are you into like, ooh, I want them to make me think. I want to, or would you be like me and you would be like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life and I couldn't tell you what this movie was about.
Well, first off, I would say not every movie was made for everybody. So if you take some kind of movie that there's a handful of people that would get and would follow it, like if you have a literature person and you make references to things that normal people don't know, but all those people are like, this movie was made for me kind of thing. I get that.